Hey guys, I actually ended up with a free period, so since I have a my work laptop here, I want to do something I normally don't get the chance to do, and I'm actually gonna play some of the live media day stuff with Lonzo, and I'm gonna give my insight um, while it plays. So, hope you guys like this, and if you'd like to see more of this in the future, you could let your boy know. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started.
Just get that can do a lot of different things on the court, and then defensively just getting into the ball.
Let me say this: the video, which is on YouTube, um, it kind of started from him in the midst of talking. I really don't know what the question was, so I really can't say. But it seems like it was more talking about his role.
Turning up on that side of the ball for sure. I think defense is going to lead to better offense for us, and that starts with me. So I think just coming in, playing hard, and just making the right plays really, my job this year.
Yeah, so he ended it by saying what his job is. So I think this had to do with his role. He mentioned how defense leads to offense. I've been saying that for the longest, even while he was on the Pelicans, going way back to last year. Fast teams in general, but particularly Lonzo teams and LaMelo teams, going back to with LeVar, always emphasized getting into the ball, trapping on defense, putting a lot of pressure on the ball, and getting the defensive turnovers so that they can get out and run and just speed blitz you. And to me, this goes right along with that. You know, let's dig into the ball. Let me be the point of attack guy. That's why I said it starts with me. Let me attack the ball, and if I can get a steal or something, I know Zach's going to be right there with me, or DeRozan or somebody else on the squad. So let's keep going.
Hi, Alonzo. Casey Johnson with NBC Sports Chicago. What have been your impressions of Arturis, Mark, and Billy to this point?
I've been happy. They're a big reason I came here, along with all the guys, especially Zach. But I think them three have done a great job, being on the same page and expressing, the things that they want to get done this year. So, I have no complaints.
So with this question, it's not a lot to pull from it, but let's talk about it anyway. The key thing that I think we need to keep in mind here is it seems like there was a lot of conversation that happened prior to him signing about what he was going to do on this team and what they wanted him to do. And I do not believe he would have signed with the Bulls if the intention was to have him just be a spot up shooter, which is why DeRozan has been reiterating it. He has reiterated it, and he will in this too. And Billy Donovan has as well. Um, I know people out there saying, "Oh, he's a connector," and "Oh my God, he's gonna be a failure if he plays on the ball." And don't listen to that. That we're not listening to that. Okay, first of all, putting a player in the box is bad. Don't ever do that. And secondly, the man has been working on his game all off season for that particular purpose. Trust me, he's ready.
Lonzo, Cody Westfield on 670 The Score. Was it an easy decision for you to come here?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. A lot of credit goes out to Rich Paul and Clutch as well. But the Bulls did a great job. I feel like they was always kind of the front runners for me. And then once the deal was set out, it was a great deal. So took it.
Let's be real. And he confirmed it too. He already knew he was going to Chicago. And the Pelicans already knew he was going to Chicago anyway. This was probably known sometime between Stan being hired and his role being given. He already knew he was out. He had already checked out. Um, so this, like he said, it was easy for him. He already knew, and they were always the front runner. And I think they had hit him up, or Rich Paul had said, "Look, they're looking to play fast in the future, and they're gonna want to get you to do that and pioneer their offense." So this is nothing out of the ordinary. We should all know this.
What's up, Lonzo? Back here. Darnell Mayberry with The Athletic. You're going into your fifth season now. Billy Donovan's talking a lot about sacrifice. Everyone needs to sacrifice, but how do you do that while also trying to stand out and have a breakout season?
I think just do what it takes to win. For me, sacrificing is all about winning. Like I said, we got a lot of different guys that can do a lot of things. But I think every night is going to be different. And for me, it's just, staying focused at the task at hand, and that's winning, whatever that consists of, whether it's, not shooting the ball, playing hard every night, picking up the slack on defense, whatever it takes to win. That's what sacrifice is for me.
Basic standard answer, but let's be real. Like I've said, I think 14, 8.5, and like 5 or 6 rebounds is solid. I think that's all he really needs for this team. And I mean, if he does more, great. If he does less, But the main thing is the wins. Winning cures all. And once you're winning, and if you're winning well, you will get put out there. You will get elevated. Your status in this league will elevate, and teams will start to look at you differently. The example is Devin Booker last year got all the way to the finals. People and teams and media are looking at him differently than they did the years prior, because it used to be just, oh, he's empty stats on a bad team. Well, he now put up those same stats on a good team. So, you can't argue against it now.
Lonzo Marshall here, CBS2. I'm just curious, as you start training camp tomorrow, what do you see as the biggest challenges of getting a group together like this that a lot of the guys haven't played together before?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest challenge, just getting accustomed to one another. This is a kind of a new situation for pretty much everybody, on the team from top to bottom. So for me, just getting those reps in, understanding each other's games and moving on from there.
Here's the one thing I'll say. While I agree in general, because mainly the conversation here is about chemistry, there are certain teams that have been put together and the chemistry was just natural. And I kind of feel like even if all of the chemistry isn't there on day one, for the most part, it will seamlessly work between some of the key pieces. And that's really what you're looking for. You can figure out all the other stuff in time, but that will be, quote unquote, the hardest thing. But to me, it's not the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me is adjusting to the expectations that are put on you for your role for this year. And that's not just Lonzo, that's everybody else. Now, you might say, well, it kind of sounds like the same thing, but, some guys will have a far different role than they've ever had, and some guys will be put in positions to do things that they've always done. And I think Lonzo, DeRozan, and Zach are going to primarily benefit from this because they're going to be doing the stuff they've always done. Vooch is going to do some of the stuff he's always done, but I think his role is going to be a little bit different. And we'll have to see what guys like Pat will. But I think, Caruso coming in off the bench doing what he's always done, to me, it's not that major. Now, you might say, okay, the timing for a pass or where you're going to be at, okay, you might have to learn that chemistry-wise. But outside of that, it's not that big of a deal, at least to me. But there's only one way to find out. We're going to have to watch him play.
Lonzo, Mark Shanowski, ABC7. Last year in New Orleans, from an outsider's perspective, looked kind of odd, where they asked you a lot of times to spot up in the corner and be a three-point shooter when your whole career you've pushed the ball, you've facilitated offense. What does Billy talk to you about how you're going to be used in this offense? And do you feel comfortable about maybe getting back to your roots as a player?
Before he answers that, I want to talk about this question. Notice the guy, he said it looked awkward. So even people who aren't Pels watchers watched what happened and said, that don't look right. Before he answers this question, I think it's key to realize that, yes, sometimes guys have skills that they've developed, but that doesn't mean that they need to or want to or should be used in that way. I know a lot of people say, well, DeRozan got 6.9 assists, 7 assists, and so he's a better half-court playmaker. That don't mean DeRozan want to do that shit. That was what he was required to do on the team. Doesn't mean that he does want to do it either, And even still, that doesn't mean that, hey, that's required of him on this team, especially next to Lonzo. When you look at what they had on the San Antonio Spurs, he kind of had to do it, But this year, will he be required to do it? But let's listen to what Lonzo has to say.
Yeah, definitely. Talking to Billy, just getting back to being more of a traditional point guard. What I'm comfortable at. Like you said, last year was different for me, but whatever the coach asks of me, I'm gonna do the best of my abilities. And this year, it's looking like I'm gonna be playing the point guard a lot, so that's what I'm gonna try to do.
So he gave part of an answer he gave last year. He's gonna do whatever they ask him to. typical Zoe, don't want to buck the system too much, keep it respectful, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he let it be known, like, look, I'm be playing point guard, which means, again, he's already had this conversation with BD and Arturis and everybody. When they brought him here, they brought him here with the intention of playing fast and putting him on the ball. And even a report came out a couple days ago saying that the expectation, well, it wasn't a report, it was Brian Windhorst was discussing it with some other people, and their expectation is he could take it up another level. There's another level he can get to. And the point of building this team this way is, one, you want to appease Zach because he's your guy. But if you want the other guy that you're bringing in, Lonzo, to be at his best too. And you want the other guy that's going to be in the backcourt with Levine taking pressure off of him, and you want it to be a seamless fit. Now, Zach's game works in transition as well as in the half court, but you're going to get the most out of Zach when he could be moving all over the court because, hey, you get a steal, Zach's gone. Nobody's beating him in a foot race to the rim, and Zoe's accurate as a passer. Zach got a lot of turnovers last year being on ball. You definitely want somebody else to take care of that responsibility. Zoe really doesn't want to do most of the scoring. Having a backcourt mate that takes care of that is perfect. And then if you're building this team to run in transition anyway, you need a guard like Lonzo, or LaMelo. But you need a guard that's going to make the necessary passes and get the ball where it needs to go so you can get quick offense.
Lonzo Shore raced out from WBEZ Radio. For many, many years, free agents were not signing here with the Bulls for whatever reason. Why was it? What turned? What did you
For whatever reason, you know damn well why they weren't signing.
see? What did the other guys see that turned that table?
For me,
We saw that y'all actually got a competent coach, a competent front office, Zach LaVine recruited, and y'all moved out everybody else and finally decided to pay motherfuckers. I answered the question.
I think just their interest in me, for me, that was big
Ding,
for me. They didn't really want me to, change anything I had going,
ding.
any part of my game. They wanted me just to excel in the things that I'm, already comfortable doing.
Ding, although people are trying to take that line and say, okay, he's still okay with being a 3-and-D role guy. No, what he's saying is, yes, I will do whatever the coach asks me to do, but ultimately the things that I really want to do is run point guard because that's what I'm good at, and I have a whole dimension of my game that I have yet to show.
So it was an easy choice for me, like I said, and then I think Zach played a big part as well.
Again, Zach was out there doing a whole lot of recruiting, not just during the offseason, but during the season. Y'all remember when he had that conversation with Zoe? When he went, and it wasn't even that really a conversation, when he took the time out of his in the game to go and address and talk to Zoe. He was already, hey, I need you.
Sam Smith with Bulls.com. How would you describe your journey in a sense when you came out of college? Magic Johnson said you were going to be the face of the Lakers, and then you end up with the Anthony Davis thing, and then Williamson came in and your role changed, and now you're here. How do you look at all that's come for you?
I think it's just part of the journey. Everybody has a different path. For me, it's been up and down. The last 4 years, but I'm blessed. Everything I go through is for a reason, I believe, and I'm happy with the life I have.
I don't really like his answer here, but there is something that he said that I do like. I do like that he acknowledges that he did have an up and down, tumultuous first 4 years. That's a show of maturity to be able to say, okay, look, my career hasn't been what I wanted it to be or hasn't been what I thought it would be. I've had some highs, I've had some lows. For you to be 23 years old, going on 24 next month, and can sit there and openly, honestly discuss and say, hey, look, it's been kind of bad, but hey, I'm still here. I got to give him credit for that.
Lonzo, Rob again. Zach mentioned that some of the guys got here a little bit early for camp to get the ball rolling a little bit, get to know each other, practice. What do you think you guys have been able to get accomplished in that time when it comes to hitting the ground running, gelling, meshing when camp and the season gets started?
I think just trying to build chemistry early on. It wasn't really about X's and O's coming in. It was more about just people just getting accustomed to one another, showing face and getting to know new personalities. That was the biggest thing, and I think, us coming in early kind of gave us a jump start on that.
I've mentioned before about personalities. Those things like those knowing your teammates' mental status will help you as a point guard, but not just as a point guard, on any level of sports or just in life. Knowing the people in their mind state will help you to deal with them and things like that. So you mentioned no X's and O's stuff, but hey, let's get a feel of the personality of the personnel and try to, develop some of that chemistry. Now, because they came in early, granted he had to show up a week later. Even though they said that he did work out with, Zach privately. Not here, they didn't say it, but it was reported that they worked out privately. Anyway, the point is, to come together early to get that worked out, you're giving yourself an advantage compared to certain other teams, or not just necessarily certain other teams, but the league in general. So that learning curve, you get to knock it off by about a week. That's really good. And for the fact that some of these guys were here, even prior to that before, like a week sooner, that helps. That's an additional week. So I've been saying I don't think the chemistry thing is as big of an issue as people are making it out to be.
There were a lot of rumors, we don't know if it was true, that you were going to be traded to the Bulls 6 months ago, a year ago. Then you end up signing with them. Did that rumors have anything to do with what eventually occurred, or did you know anything about it?
I always got rumors circling around me all year. So,
Goddamn right.
It's been the same for me the last, 4 years, like I said. I'm
Goddamn
just happy to be
right.
here.
That motherfucker had rumors since he been a Bull, period. I mean, not a Bull, since he been a Laker.
When we were talking to DeMar back in August when you guys signed, he kind of reacted in a good way, but like strongly about, the fit on the court. He was like, well, we're basketball players. We just go out there and play off each other. There is a lot of question marks about the fit, though, but it seems like on paper you guys are all a bunch of unselfish players.
Okay, if there's question marks, but who are the question marks from? And then you say on paper it fits. That don't make much sense to me. Who's the ones with the questions, and who's the ones that saying it fits on paper? Isn't it the same people, the media? You got some people in the media that say, oh, it works, and others that don't. I mean, to me, that's kind of a stupid question. Ultimately, here's the thing. Skill set matters, right? Having Steven Adams and Zion Williamson didn't make sense from the standpoint that they're two bulky bodies and you don't have a bunch of shooters around them. And that's before you start playing point Zion. Okay, even when you play point Zion, you still have, for him to do work, he still has to go in and deal with Steven Adams as a body and Steven Adams man. Okay, I wouldn't sit there and say, okay, that fits. Now, what's the issue exactly with DeMar and Zach? They literally operate in two different parts of the court. Yes, both want to get to the paint, but that's okay. You got a center that's not even going to want to be there. He's going to be out on the perimeter or something. So you get to the paint, you beat your man. Okay, there you go. Both want to get to the paint, but DeMar primarily wants to be in mid-range. Zach wants to be on the perimeter. So when you look at the court, there's the paint. I'm gonna try to do this here. Like this is the paint. All of this is like the perimeter. The mid-range, and all of this is the perimeter. If DeRozan wants to be here, how is he affecting Zach, who wants to be out on the perimeter? You see what I'm saying? To me, it doesn't make much sense. If you want to talk about fit, I would say this. There's less that each of them do that diversifies them or makes them different. Like, they overlap in a lot of places, mainly because they're scorers. So they're going to both want to put the ball in the hole. Here's the thing, even with all that being said, Zoe himself fits with each one of them individually. Both, even with DeRozan, yes, both can pass. Zoe's clearly the better passer, but Zoe is a better rebounder, and he's a better shooter from range. It's a complementary piece, and he's gonna get DeRozan easier looks. Okay, same thing kind of applies with Zach, except they're both really good shooters. Zach is a little bit better, actually a lot bit better. Let me not front. By the way, all these guys are athletic, but all of the dirty stuff that Zach doesn't really want to do, Zoe can do, and so he doesn't have to worry about doing it. And I can sit here and find little intricacies with everybody in the lineup, but the point being, between Zach and DeRozan, the only thing that overlap on is scoring. Now it would be different if they overlap because they want to be in each other's like pockets. Okay, the same place that DeMar wants to be at, that DeRozan wants to be at. Okay, then I would get that. That would make a lot of sense. That's why I used that example with Steven Adams and Zion, because where Zion wants to be, Steven Adams is there and he's not doing anything. He's not helping. But with these two, they want to operate in different locations. So that's okay. That's fine.
Including DeMar, Zach, Vooch. Is that kind of how you see it as kind of the orchestrators of
Yeah, I don't see it being a problem, especially the way today's NBA is
Thank
sculpted.
you.
I think it's turning more into a positionless game.
That I disagree with. I don't think it's positionless. I think it's omnipositional. What I mean by that is I think the expectation is for players to be able to operate in multiple roles and multiple positions at any given time, to be flexible. That's one of the things I preach. Flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. But outside of that, look, man, like it's really not that big of a deal, you know. Now, if you got bigs, you got bigs. I hate to tell you, if you got bigs, you got bigs, and those are going to help you in the playoffs more than not. Okay, I'm going to favor a team with bigs. And I don't even like the term with bigs, but with the centers and forwards that are, you know, above height or physically menacing in presence, I'm going to favor them over more technical skill guys.
So people that say, you know, DeMar and Zach can't, you know, coexist, I don't believe that. I think we're going
I
to
don't
have,
either.
you know, a great team. We got a lot of guys with high character, like you said, and a lot of unselfish players. And, you know, ultimately that leads to a good team.
It's not the only
Lonzo,
thing.
there's been a lot of talk about this new era in basketball, the player empowerment era. You're represented by Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, and Zach has just recently signed on with Rich as well. Maybe you could let the viewers and the listeners know a little bit about what that all is all about. Do players get together and talk about trying to build the best team in the city they're in? I mean, what kind of collaborative process is it like
That's a low-key trick question. Do they tamper? Absolutely.
working with Rich Paul in your camp?
For me, it was a blessing. You know, Rich came in right away and helped me out from the jump. Really, I mean, I had a great meeting with him, and ever since that day, we had a good bond, and it's just been improving since then. And then Zach, you know, he asked me about it as well. You know, guys asked.
Why did Zach ask? Zach wanted to make sure that he got the same thing that Zoe did. Zoe coming in this year and basically making more money than I ever made, you know, in my entire career, and I'm better than him. Can he get me the same thing? Absolutely, bro. He hooked me up, man. I'm telling you, he did me a lot of favors, and I've chopped around different, you know, representation until I finally said, "Fuck it, let me go with Rich." And Rich has been A1 since. He's taken care of me, and he's got me what I wanted. If you want the same thing, get with Rich. That's all that is.
You know, how different situations are, you know, or whatnot. And I told him, you know, it's been great for me personally. I had, you know, nothing bad to say. And, you know, he came over and he's loving his time with Clutch as well, too. So I think just people just building those relationships over time. And then obviously you make friends in the league and you guys just talk about it.
All right, anybody else?
That's the end of the interview. Look, there's bits and pieces of things to take from this, but at the end of the day, we all gotta be realistic here. These guys are gonna have to put in the work. You know, Lonzo understands that he's got to put in the work. But if you even go look at him, hold on, let me turn my camera to my computer. He looks a little bit bulkier. I know it's kind of blurry and everything because it probably, let's see. There we go. It's a little bit clearer. But he's a little bit bulkier. He's definitely put in the weight he's put in the weight. He's definitely put in the work this offseason. And I don't even think his videos show how much bulkier he looks. It's not a lot, but it's enough. Now, some of that's going to go away due to the season and, you know, just running and yada, yada, yada. But that's going to help him, you know, bump people off of him when he's trying to get to the rim and he's trying to finish. That is intentional. That is by design. But it's work, man. I don't think he is going to have an issue I don't think any of the starters are going to have an issue with Zoe. I don't even think necessarily the bench is going to have an issue. I've told you guys over and over what my issues with this team is, and Billy Donovan has, remarked on that before. This team, I think, is going to be reminiscent of Phoenix when they just come out there swinging. If I'm wrong on this, fine. But, doing this, you got to stick your head out sometimes and it might get chopped. And that's okay. I don't mind that. You guys should know by now, I don't mind sticking my neck out and saying how I feel, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. At the end of the day, I'm going to say exactly what I think, and so be it. Whatever happens after that happens. But I truly believe that they're going to come out swinging, and I truly believe teams are not going to be prepared to deal with them. I'm not saying this is going to be on the level of Golden State because I don't think that they have that transcendent guy. Zoe is not there yet. If he was ever going to be there, he's still not there yet. But they don't have that transcendent guy like Golden State had because they had Steph. And it evolved into that over time. We'll see what happens, though. I will say this. I'm a lot higher on this backcourt than I was initially. I still wouldn't necessarily put them as a top 3 backcourt. But I'm probably around like number 6. I think I was like around 8 or 9 with them. I'm probably like right there just outside the top 5 with them. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But I'm going to say this and I'm going to close out this video. This team's future rests solely on the shoulders of Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball. That is the backcourt of the future. Not that shit in New Orleans. This is the true backcourt of the future. And the better those two play together will overwrite a lot of the issues of this team. There's going to be nights where DeRozan... See, here's the problem with DeRozan. DeRozan, if he can't hit his shots, what can he do? And this also applies to Zach LaVine, too. If they can't get their shots, what can they really do? Okay? But Zach LaVine is clearly the better scorer right now because he's better from all 3. But the problem is for DeRozan, he doesn't pull the defense far enough when he's not on. Zach LaVine, when he's still not on, he's still pulling the defense because he's such a perimeter threat and you gotta guard him. With that being said, I think there is a natural chemistry, not quite as strong as Zion and Zoe, but I think between those two, they'll have it figured out day one. And when Vooch don't have it, and when DeRozan don't have it, I think those two are going to come through. And y'all going to hear me talk a lot of shit when it happens, because I'm going to be like, I told you so. But anywho, that's all I got. Tell me if you like this. Y'all have a good one. Peace.